Get together for great days and great nights on WCLQ TV 61 in Cleveland.
From the Brown County Veterans Memorial Arena in Green Bay, Wisconsin, welcome to Cleveland State basketball. Tonight, the Vikings, with 9 wins in their first 11 games, open AMQ8 conference play against the Phoenix of the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, which has won only 1 out of its first 10. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Davis, along with my partner, Bingo Smith. Those of you that are students of mythology know the story of the Phoenix, a fictional bird which self-destructed in flames only to regenerate itself, rising out of its ashes to perpetuate its life. And that's pretty much the same story that we have here tonight, Bingo. The Phoenix coming off 3 straight losing seasons, trying to revive their basketball tradition under new head coach Dick Bennett.
Well, Coach Bennett has a task in front of him tonight, not only tonight, but for the whole season. He inherited a team that only had 1 starter back from last year, and he was depending on that guy. We were talking about Richard Sims. Most of you probably know him from Barberton, but he's out for the year. He only played 2 games, so he's out, so now he had to rely on some freshmen and sophomores and 1 junior in that starting lineup, and neither one of those guys is averaging 10 points or better, so their style of basketball is the slow-down type style, so it's very interesting tonight to see what Coach Mackey can do with it.
And we should point out that junior is a junior college transfer, so he's only in his first year here at Green Bay, Wisconsin. Let's talk about Cleveland State for a minute, because Kenny McFadden came out in his first start last week against Utica with 24 points, which has sort of solidified him in the starting lineup. At the point guard position, though, that means that Sean Hood will see increased playing time, spelling Eddie Bryant.
Well, it wouldn't be that much of a transaction for them. They shared that position for 2 years in a row, and they did very good at it. So with the added scoring from McFadden, it's only going to make that backcourt a little better.
Let's take a look at the way the teams stand as we head into conference play right now. As you take a look at the standings, Southwest Missouri State, the surprise so far of the conference, with 10 wins in what was supposed to be a rebuilding year. Cleveland State and Eastern Illinois, the preseason favorite and runner-up, following pretty much true to form. Western Illinois with an even 500 record. Illinois Chicago now has won 3 straight, including their conference opener last Thursday against Valparaiso. Northern Iowa, where Jim Barry resigned today, at 4-6. Valparaiso at 4-7, and Wisconsin Green Bay in last place at 1-9. Let's hope that they don't get their second victory tonight.
Well, let's hope so. This is a game, as I keep mentioning the Michigan State game, but that was a stepping stone for us to try to play a game against a team like Michigan. I think tonight Green Bay has their hands filled with a team like Cleveland State.
We'll find out what happens in just a couple of minutes. Stay tuned. Cleveland State basketball is next.
Channel 61 Sports presents Cleveland State basketball with sports announcers Alan Davis and Bingo Smith. Share the spirit of college basketball tonight as the Cleveland State Vikings take on the Phoenix of the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay. Tonight's game is brought to you by the Motor Cars Group, Cleveland's international car specialists, where we let the good times roll. By Scandinavian Health Spas, where America comes for fitness. And by Mullinex Ford, the 3rd largest Ford dealership in the United States.
Cleveland State Vikings. Cleveland State Vikings, right? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phoenix basketball. Tonight's opponents, Cleveland State University Vikings against the University of Wisconsin Green Bay Fighting Phoenix. The starting lineups. Starting at 1 forward for Cleveland State, 6'6" senior from Cleveland, Ohio, number 24, Clinton Smith. At a forward for the Phoenix, 6'4" freshman from Franklin Park, Illinois, number 22, Bernie Tompa. At the other forward for the Vikings, 6'5" junior from Toledo, Ohio, number 44, Clinton Ramsey. At the other forward for the Phoenix, 6'7" freshman from Pekin, Illinois, number 32, Pat Taphorn. At center for the Vikings, 6'8" junior from Cleveland, Ohio, number 33, Eric Mudd. At center for the Phoenix, 6'5" junior from Joliet, Illinois, number 34, Steve Cottrell. At a guard for the Vikings, 6'1" freshman from New York, number 10, Ken McFadden. At a guard for the Phoenix, 6'1" sophomore from South Holland, Illinois, number 12, Frank Nardi. The other guard spot for the Vikings, 5'10" junior from Dorchester, Massachusetts, number 5, Ed Bryant. The other guard for the Phoenix, 6'2" junior from Chicago, Illinois, number 20, Alonzo Skanes. Remainder of the respective squads, the head coach for the Cleveland State Vikings, Kevin Mackey. The head coach for the Phoenix, Dick Bennett.
Those are your starting lineup for tonight's contest, and we'll be just about set to get underway here at Brown County Arena. Capacity 5,200, however, will be far from that total tonight, but nevertheless a pretty good crowd for the Phoenix. They haven't been getting many people here. They've been averaging about 1,200, but it looks like we should be at around a couple thousand this evening.
I'll tell you, one note that we should mention is lineup change for the Phoenix. Skanes is not coming off the bench tonight. He's a starter, so it seems like Coach Bennett is trying to put a little more firepower into that starting lineup.
I talked with assistant coach Steve Swan just before the game. The Phoenix have not had the same starting lineup in 2 consecutive games this season. He is still experimenting, trying to get the right combination there, and that was part of a good combination because the Phoenix controlled the opening tip. Nardi with the basketball to Alonzo Skanes, who is making his 5th start of the season tonight. On the right side, it's Pat Taphorn. Back to Nardi.
What Cleveland State is doing right now is something that's difficult to do, and that's start off in a zone, especially with a team that likes to slow the ball down. So what they're trying to do is put a trap on them, make them shoot the ball a little quicker.
Down to 10 seconds on the shot clock, and the Phoenix had better hurry if they want to get this shot off. Nardi over to Skanes. Skanes takes the first shot just before the buzzer. It falls short and no violation, so we do have, and right now we're going to have a technical right off the top on Kevin Mackey.
What Coach Mackey is arguing about, the shot was not taken before the 45-second clock. You could be up in the air, but the ball is not released from your hand. It's no good.
Well, I thought the buzzer had gone off myself, but nevertheless, Rich Bertoni has called a technical foul on Kevin Mackey, and shooting at the foul line will be freshman Bernie Tompa from Franklin Park, Illinois. Tompa, the best free throw shooter on the club, with 11 of 11 from the free throw line, and that is his first miss of the season. He'll get another one and a chance to split the pair. And he does. So the Phoenix have a point on the board with only 49 seconds gone in the contest, and they will have the basketball and a chance to score once again. Taphorn inbounds to Nardi. Nardi being hounded by Eddie Bryant. Gets it across the timeline. Bernie Tompa with his hands on the basketball. This is a slow-down team. They're only averaging 50 points per game coming into the contest. And inside, Cottrell, the leading scorer.
That was good pass in the basketball. They took the basketball around the horn. They tried to find some splits into the zone defense, and they did that time.
And we have a foul call, the first one of the ball game against Alonzo Skanes on the Cleveland State offensive end. They will get the ball out of bounds underneath their own basket. Eddie Bryant will put the ball in play. When you talk about opposites, this is about as opposite as these two teams can be. Cleveland State, of course, #1 in the nation in points per game, 98.2 points per game average, while the Phoenix only averages 50 points a game, while their opponents have averaged 63.3. Eddie Bryant throws the ball away, and it'll be the Phoenix basketball. They lead in the ball game 3-0. A surprising development early in the contest.
I know this is not the way Coach Mackey wanted us to play the basketball game tonight. We want to cause some turnovers on defense, and on offense, we want to put the ball up in a hurry. We want to make them play a fast tempo game.
You know, it sounds kind of unusual to talk about controlling the tempo with a 45-second clock in effect this year, but the Phoenix can do it. From the corner, Taphorn misses, knocked out of bounds by Clinton Smith, but they ruled it was last touched by Steve Cottrell, so it'll be Cleveland State's basketball.
On this possession here, Cleveland State must establish their offensive power here. They must score on this one.
Clinton Smith takes the shot and misses, and coming down with it is Cottrell. So the crowd here at Brown County Arena getting very excited about the prospects of a victory, but of course we've only played 2.5 minutes of basketball. The Phoenix, however, in the lead, 3-0. They have been outscored by the opposition by only 13 points, while Cleveland State has been outscoring its opponents by 27 points. And Alonzo Skanes makes it a 5-0 Cleveland State lead, or rather Viking Phoenix lead. And Clinton Smith finally puts the Vikings on the board with his first bucket of the ball game.
Now we have to call some turnovers.
Well, Clinton Smith is trying to do just that. The Mouse, McFadden, makes the steal, and Smitty puts it up and in, and with 16:45 remaining, it's now a 5-4 ball game. Phoenix easily breaking the press.
That time I thought they had a 2-on-1. You saw they wisely pulled the ball back. Let's run some time off the clock. Let's don't let Cleveland State get their running game going. They can get 100 points.
Bernie Tompa in the corner to Nardi. Over to Skanes. Skanes with a long bomb. And Alonzo Skanes with 4 points puts the Phoenix out in front by 3 with a 7-4 lead. Clinton Smith looking for someone to hand the ball off to. Finally gets it out to Eddie Bryant. Bryant almost loses it against Frank Nardi. And we have a whistle and a foul.
Here you see Sean Hood comes in for Eddie Bryant. Sean is a better penetrator on a set defense than Eddie Bryant is. I think that's why Coach Mackey put Sean in the game.
That foul called on Alonzo Skanes.
On the replay here, you see Clinton got open for the shot, was fouled underneath.
Vikings will take it out of bounds underneath their own basket. Trailing in the ball game, 7-4.
That move that Ramsey used that time is what you call a cutback move. He went across the lane, good shot.
Clinton Smith puts in the basket, and he is fouled by Frank Nardi in the process. And that is Nardi's first, the team third.
As I was saying about Ramsey's last shot where he was fouled, we call that a peel back. He went set the pick on the opposite side of the floor from the ball, and then he peeled back to the middle.
Clinton Smith with a chance to tie it up. He does, and we have a 7-7 ball game now with 15:45 remaining in the first half of action. Vikings with the press. No whistle on that one. A little bit of an acting job by the Vikings. I'm impressed, even though it's early in the ball game, by the Phoenix and their defensive strategy. Pat Taphorn with that one puts the Phoenix back out in front, 9-7. Clinton, or rather Sean Hood, in the middle of the trees.
Doing what he was put in there to do, to penetrate the middle. They're playing a man-to-man defense, which is very unusual for a team that's giving up 63 points a game, especially to a team like Cleveland, that they will play a man-to-man, but you see what happens.
Over across the way, Steve Corbin getting set to come in the game. There's a turnover. Hood with a 3-on-1 fast break gets it over to the Mouse. McFadden misses the shot, but Clinton Ramsey comes down with the rebound and puts it in. And the Vikings have the lead for the first time tonight, 11-9. 14:30 remaining in the first half of action. McFadden trying to steal, and he does. Over to Hood. Hood with a reverse layup, misses, but he draws a foul. We have some substitutions coming into the ball game. Paul Stewart, Ray Salters, and Steve Corbin giving Clinton Ramsey, Ken McFadden, and Clinton Smith a break.
Here's the steal by McFadden. You see, I thought he was fouled on the sideline there. Good penetration, good dish off. Sean Hood, fine penetration itself underneath to draw the foul.
And it'll be Hood at the line with a chance to give Cleveland State its biggest lead of the ball game so far. Hood with 81.5% free throw average makes his first one. Sean Hood has made 23 of 28 free throws on the year, and that's 24 of 29. Vikings now up by 4, 13-9. And the Phoenix will keep the basketball. Knocked out of bounds by a blue shirt, or rather a green shirted Cleveland State Viking. Haphorn looking for someone to give it to. Salters on the steal is going to be charged with the foul.
Those type of fouls we don't mind because we have enough personnel that we put in and out of the game during the course of a game. That was a good foul because it was a hustling foul.
And Salters, known as the fire plug, is not afraid to mix it up. And it's going to be a traveling violation against Steve Cottrell, so the turnover gives the ball back to Cleveland State. Cottrell, a junior college transfer from Joliet, Illinois, playing his first year with the Phoenix, averaging 9.1 points per game. Second leading scorer on the club. In fact, the leading scorer, Alonzo Skanes, for Wisconsin Green Bay, only averages 9.5 points per game. And we have a foul on Cottrell. Cottrell is upset, and he's going to get nailed with a technical in addition to the personal.
Well, that was a hustling foul on Cottrell. He thought that he had possession of the basketball because he had a hand on it. Good job by Cottrell, though the official called a foul on it.
Sean Hood will be at the line to shoot the technical. Hood, as we mentioned, came into the ball game with an 81.5% free throw average. And Coach Dick Bennett discussing it with official Rich Bertoni. Both the officials tonight are from the Chicago, Illinois area. Bertoni from Arlington Heights and Bo Paprocki, rather Bertoni from Chicago and Bo Paprocki from Arlington Heights. Quite a vocal crowd here at the Brown County Memorial Arena as Sean Hood puts in his third consecutive free throw of the game. And that will make it 14-9 in favor of Cleveland State, and the Vikings get the ball out of bounds. Salters being guarded by, we have a whistle, and we're going to have a traveling violation, and I assume that was on Ray Salters.
That time Salters had a jump shot and didn't throw it. The guy who was guarding him fell down, and Salters took an extra step.
Ball inbounded by Nardi to Bernie Tompa. Tompa gets it to Cottrell.
You know, the fans watch that time a 3-on-2 and wonder why they didn't go all the way in for the layup. I think it's the coach's decision to bring the ball back out. Let's make some passes, at least 10 passes, so we can get some good shots. You know, they have one guy who's the leading assist playmaker in the league.
That's Frank Nardi. He is averaging 6 assists a game. Bob Crawford getting his first shot of the ball game, missing. Stewart on the follow-up. Paul Stewart makes it a 16-9 CSU lead with 13:03 remaining in the first half. Cottrell has it taken away. Corbin comes out with it. Sean Hood paused the turnover. Corbin takes a few too many steps before he can get the ball away, and that turnover will give the ball back to the Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix as we have an official timeout on the floor with 12:46 remaining in the first half. The score, Cleveland State 16, Wisconsin Green Bay 9. 12:46 remaining in the first half of action here. The Vikings have taken a lead of 7 points, 16-9. They're shooting 44% from the field so far on 4 out of 9. The Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix are 4 of 6. Cleveland State has forced 5 turnovers while Wisconsin Green Bay has forced 3. The Phoenix will get the ball out of bounds. The Phoenix right now only have 9 healthy players on their roster. We'll talk more about that as the game goes on. Needless to say, the Vikings with a rotation of 10 and 11 men and the frequent substitution are going to be pretty fresh by comparison. That is Tomka from the corner.
I'm very impressed with Green Bay's shooting. They're getting real good shots as they pass the ball around. There's an open man, but they can only hit those shots when they're open.
Well, they came into the ball game only averaging 44.3%. But they are taking good shots, as you say, Bingo, and making the most of it. That was only their 7th shot of the ball game, as a matter of fact, and they've made 5 of them. It's 16-11 now as Sean Hood forces one up and makes it.
We all get lucky sometime.
That was really not the way the play was diagrammed, but we'll take whatever works. Hood on another steal. A cross-court pass intended for Paul Stewart, broken up by Steve Cottrell, and the Phoenix has the basketball back. With 11:20 to go in the first half, they trail by 7. Nardi with a long-range bomb misses, and the rebound comes out to Paul Stewart. Vikings on the attack once again. This is the first MQ8 conference game for both of these ball clubs as Stewart fouls Bernie Tompa on the rebound, and that is only the 3rd, or rather the 2nd team foul against Cleveland State. And we have an official timeout on the floor with 10:57 remaining in the first half. The score, Cleveland State 18, Wisconsin Green Bay 11. We'll be back. The Vikings with tonight's game begin a string of 3 consecutive road games. After tonight, their travels will take them to Chicago, Illinois, where they will play the University of Illinois Chicago on Monday night, their 2nd AMQ8 conference game of the season. And then on Wednesday, a big one against the DePaul Blue Demons, who were 70-54 losers at the Horizon this afternoon to Notre Dame. Alonzo Skanes just put up his 3rd basket of the contest. It's now 18-13 in favor of Cleveland State. The Vikings scoring has come primarily from Clinton Smith and Sean Hood. They have 14 points between the 2 of them. That shot by Ramsey was blocked. And the Phoenix impressing on defense.
You don't normally see the one block Clinton Ramsey's shot like that.
Alonzo Skanes, he's the leading scorer, but he misses on that one. Skanes has 6 points on the night. He's only averaging 9.5 points for the year. That is Eddie Bryant missing the shot, and Skanes coming down with the rebound. Skanes, a transfer from the University of Minnesota in his first year here at Wisconsin Green Bay.
in the last 2 or 3 minutes, we've only had one shot at the hoop. We'd have to have some offensive rebounding, or they'll stay close to this game.
That traveling violation on Alonzo Skanes will give the ball back to Cleveland State. Vikings, in addition to the fact that this is their first of 3 road games, it's the first of 4 games in 8 nights as Clinton Smith puts the shot in, and the foul is going to be on either Steve Cottrell or the new man in the lineup, Adrian Bolding. That is on Steve Cottrell. And that'll send Clinton Smith to the line. He's 1 of 1 from the line tonight. Came into the ball game shooting 63.6% and is now perfect in 2 tries. He now has 10 points as Bob Crawford comes into the ball game replacing Eric Mudd. It is 21-13 in favor of the Vikings with 9:21 remaining in the first half of action. Nardi trying to get the ball in bounds. Almost didn't get it in time. Skanes trying to drive against Crawford, gets it in.
I'm very impressed with Mr. Skanes. He has good floor balance, he has good vision. He sees where he wants to go and he gets there.
Tell you what, he was a high school All-American, and that is it's pretty easy to see why. Although on that one he committed a personal, and that is, I believe, his 3rd. And I am correct, that's his 3rd of the ball game. And this is the guy that they can ill afford to get into foul trouble.
He asked the coach not to take him out. He said it would be all right. I wouldn't hear it. I would take him out right now. He's too valuable to this team. In the second half, the game is not going to be won in this first half.
This is only Skanes' 5th start of the season. As we mentioned at the top of the program, the Phoenix have not had the same starting lineup in 2 consecutive games this year. And believe it or not, that is Kenny McFadden's first point of the night. And it comes from the free throw line where he's an 80% free throw shooter and just improved it there, going 2 for 2. And it's a 23-15 Viking lead. Skanes getting fouled by Bryant, and he sort of planned that one. Eddie Bryant committing his first personal as we have a substitution for the Phoenix. Doug Carter, a 6'3" freshman out of Minneapolis, coming into the ball game, and Alonzo Skanes will take a rest. Bernie Tompa with the basketball to Frank Nardi. Taphorn. And Taphorn's going to take the shot, misses, and a fight for the rebound. It's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be Wisconsin-Green Bay's basketball.
That time we was trying to get down the floor before we had the basketball. Crawford had the ball stripped from him underneath. We were all 4 men down court.
Inbounds pass goes to Doug Carter, who promptly hands it off to Frank Nardi. Frank Nardi, the only starter with any appreciable amount of experience here at Wisconsin-Green Bay, played in all 28 games for the Phoenix last year when they only won 4 games and lost 24. This is the 17th season of varsity basketball here at Wisconsin-Green Bay. Only their 5th year as a Division I school. And surprisingly, in 16 years, they've only had 3 losing seasons, but 3 of them, or rather 4 losing seasons, 3 of them have come in the last 3 years. Quentin Ramsey lets fly and misses. And it is Wisconsin-Green Bay coming out with the rebound. They trail by 8 with 7:45 remaining in the first half.
That time Nardi came out of the pack with the rebound and had a clear layup down to the end. If he had just taken it, he slowed it down, went behind the pack to get this shot here.
Tompa from the corner.
I guess you do what you do best.
Tompa now has 5 points. He's only averaging 6.5 per contest. And on the alley-oop, Clinton Smith puts it in. Clinton Smith now with 12 points. And he's averaging 18.5. They're a very disciplined ball club, the Phoenix.
Fans are probably wondering, why are we pressing full court? They're not trying to press to get the ball down the court fast. They're going to hold the ball anyhow. We're trying to cause turnovers. Let's add a point.
Crawford caused a turnover there and capitalized on it for his first 2 points of the evening, and it is now 27-17. Want to talk a little more about Bob Crawford as the game goes along, because he is the leading rebounder on the club with 75. Leads Eric Mudd by 1 rebound, 75-74, but Crawford plays 5 minutes less per game. Shot clock now down to 15 seconds as Ken McFadden knocks it out of bounds. It'll still be the Phoenix basketball, but 14 seconds are left on the shot clock, and we have an official timeout on the floor with 6:15 remaining in the first half. The score, Cleveland State 27, Wisconsin Green Bay 17. We'll be back. You'll enjoy a great day all day tomorrow on TV 61 Sunday Film Festivals beginning at noon. Don't miss Jack Lemmon and Peter Falk in Love. Then at 2 p.m. it's the horror classic Night Terror starring Valerie Harper. And then at 3:30 it's Gary Grant and Deborah Carr in An Affair to Remember. A great day every day on TV 61. This is your shooting percentage for the game so far. The Cleveland State Vikings shooting at even 50% on 9 out of 18. While the Phoenix, I lost the graphics, so I can't shoot.
8 out of 12.
8 out of 12, which isn't bad, 67%.
That's why I mentioned earlier they have good passing, but they just don't take enough shots.
Actually, on the season, they have only taken 469 shots coming into this ball game. Cleveland State, by contrast, has taken 825, so they've almost doubled the attempts. Sean Hood with a steal, but has it stolen back by Pat Taphorn. Taphorn loses it out of bounds, so it'll still be Cleveland State's basketball.
I tell you, for a big guy, Taphorn that time had good hands, played very good defense on a guy who's a speed burner.
And he's only a freshman out of Pekin, Illinois. Clinton Smith.
That's the shot I think Clinton Smith should work on. I think that's his shot. That can open so many things for him.
Well, that gave him 14 points right now with 5:45 remaining in the first half, and it opened up the Cleveland State lead to 12, 29-17. Tampa being harassed by Smith, gets it out to Carter.
You know, when I see a play like just happened a few minutes ago, I thought they had a good shot, a little 10-foot jump shot. He brought it back out. Sometimes you're not letting your players play their game.
Now let's see who the foul is going to be on. One official, the outside official, Bo Paprocki, called it on Doug Carter. The inside official, Rich Bertoni, called it on Clinton Smith, and I think it's going to stand as a foul on Clinton Smith. So the Phoenix will get the ball out of bounds. That is Carter handing off to Nardi. Neither team had a chance to practice here at Brown County Arena as Tampa misses from the corner and Kenny McFadden comes out with the rebound. McFadden's going to slow it down. Couldn't penetrate. Sean Hood gets it underneath. And we have a whistle and a 3-second violation on the Cleveland State Vikings. And that'll give the ball back to the Phoenix.
That time it was a good pass that time from Sean Hood. That time Crawford put it on the floor when he should have went up, muscled it to the backboard, and it cost him.
And you were talking to Bob Crawford about his offensive play before the ball game, and that's one of the things that you cautioned him about doing.
Well, he tries to gather his balance. That's why he put it to the floor to get some momentum to go up. He has to learn how to just go straight up.
Driving and being called for the offensive foul is Adrian Bolding.
As you see, that time Bolding went into the defensive player. He was stationary. He didn't try to jump with the offensive player. He got the charge.
4.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Vikings in the lead here with a 12-point margin as McFadden gets his own rebound but steps out of bounds.
It was a late call on the foul. I think Kenny did foul the person, but it was a long time after that he stepped on the line. One official called on the line, the other one called the foul.
Well, that's the one thing that always, of course, makes the officials the object of criticism when they are somewhat inconsistent and they are differing in the calls. Inbounds pass by Nardi goes to Doug Carter. Back to Nardi. They're doing a pretty good job of breaking the press. This is Tampa. Has the ball stolen or stripped, but Bob Crawford is going to get called for a personal.
Now, I was happy to see them go to the hoop, although they're going against my team. They went to the hoop that time very strong, and that's what I think they have to do to try to get themselves back into this game to make a ball game out of it.
So far, Wisconsin Green Bay has committed twice as many turnovers as the Vikings, 10-5. Freshman Bernie Tampa at the line, his third attempt, and he makes good.
See, there's a lot of reasons for that. If you're passing the basketball, you're going to make some turnovers, and they're passing the ball 10 to 12 times, each time down in that 45 seconds. You're going to create some turnovers.
Tampa, showing why he is the leader in free throw percentage, is now 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He has 7 points, and the Phoenix are back to within 10, 29-19. This may be the lowest scoring output that the Vikings have had so far this season, as Paul Stewart takes his first shot of the ball game, actually his second shot of the ball game, and he's made good on both of them. It's 31-19 as the Phoenix did not take advantage once again.
A 3-on-1 that time. You know, when you're outmanned, it's good to do that to get yourself a good shot, but it takes confidence away from your players that they can't do it, so they won't try it anymore.
Well, especially when you play against a team that thrives on the transition game. Crawford will be called for the foul. Thought he had the block, but...
Well, you see on the replay here, you see his hand comes forward. You see how his hand is up forward? As long as his hand is not straight up, he's going to get called for that foul each time.
That was the second personal called on Bob Crawford and puts him on the bench in favor of Eric Mudd, who is now in the ballgame. And the Phoenix also making a substitution. Roger Ripley, a 6'8", 210-pound freshman from Pulaski, Wisconsin, gives Pat Taphorn a rest with 3:15 remaining in the first half. These guys average a lot of minutes. Adrian Bolding with his first point of the night. The Vikings have no player averaging more than 24 points a ball game, or 24 minutes per ball game, I should say. And we have an official timeout on the floor with 3:15 remaining in the first half. The score, CSU 31, Wisconsin Green Bay 21. We'll be back. We mentioned before the break that the Vikings have no player averaging more than 24 minutes of contest, while the Phoenix have a couple guys over 30 minutes of ball game. One of them is Frank Nardi. Quentin Smith, with 14 points so far this evening, is 5 of 7 from the field.
4 of those buckets are on layups.
Actually, I think he may be a little bit better than that because he has 14 points, and I only have him down for 2 free throws, so it's probably 6 of 8. Not bad. Clinton averaging 57.8 from the field. Ray Salters puts up the shot, misses off the glass. Nardi comes out with a rebound for Wisconsin Green Bay. And on the steal, Eric Mudd gets it to Steve Corbin, over to Sean Hood, and Stewart is going to take a shot. This time it's over too far, but Mudd puts it up and in on the rebound. Eric Mudd's first 2 points of the ball game, and it's now 33-21. Vikings with a 12-point lead, which they've maintained pretty much. Hood. The ball is knocked out of bounds, but we're going to get an offensive charge on Sean Hood. That is Hood's first personal. And the Phoenix gets the basketball back. 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half of action. Paul Stewart steps on the line, and that'll give the ball back to Wisconsin Green Bay. Vikings took their first lead at 11-9 after trailing in the early moments of the ball game. Nardi, it's a violation, didn't get it in within the allotted 5 seconds, and that'll give the ball back to Cleveland State.
When you get a break like this, now you have to capitalize on it and make a score out of it. Just to get the turnover to get the ball in the possession, it's not doing you that much good if you don't make a score out of it.
Eric Mudd on the turnaround, bounces off the rim, and Salters comes down with the rebound, and Salters is fouled. I believe that's going to be on Roger Ripley, and Salters will be at the line.
That time you saw the presence of Salter. He went up very high to get that rebound and showed some muscle in there. He was giving up 4 inches on that rebound.
Actually, a little more than that because Salters is listed at 6'2", Roger Ripley at 6'8". But nevertheless, Ray Salters will step up to the free throw line from where he is shooting 64%. Salters averaging 6.4 points per ball game so far on the season. Nice shot. Salters has his first point of the evening. It's a 34-21 Viking lead. Ray Salters trying to make it 2 for 2. Misses on the second one. Battle for the rebound. Goes out of bounds. And whose ball will it be? It'll be the Phoenix basketball. Clinton Ramsey replaces Ray Salters in the Viking lineup as we're down to 2:16 remaining in the first half. I can't recall a game this season in which the Vikings have scored less than 40 points in the first half. And right now they're within striking distance, but you have to credit the Green Bay defense because they have really been a thorn in the side of the Vikings.
Well, they're using at least 35 seconds on the 45-second shot clock. Except for that time, it was a good wide-open shot. They should take it every time.
And that was Bernie Tompa, who now has 9 points, 3 over his average. Clinton Smith. I think Clinton wanted that shot. Sean Hood's going to take it, though, and he puts it in, and Sean Hood has 9 points, and that's double his average of 4.4. Sean Hood, by the way, will be the subject of our CSU close-up at halftime, along with Eddie Bryant. The twin tandems. And we have a foul underneath, and that'll be on Eric Mudd. Mudd whistled for his first personal.
You know, the play of the Phoenix may keep Cleveland State from scoring 100 points, but I tell you, these fans don't like the way they play. Their offense, they're booing their offense because they're not taking advantage of the opportunities that they have.
Roger Ripley at the line. He's averaging 67%. And he misses on that one. And Sean Hood playing inspired basketball. against a much taller Frank Nardi, but that time Hood traveled. And the turnover will give the ball back to CSU as Eddie Bryant replaces Sean Hood and Ken McFadden replaces Steve Corbin.
That time Sean Hood had the basketball a little too long. He had too many dribbles. He should have given the basketball up and got it back.
Right now, there is a turnover story. Wisconsin, Green Bay, more than double the amount of the Vikings, 15-7. Doug Carter with the basketball, looking for Frank Nardi to come out and take control of it. And there it is, Nardi with the basketball over to Bernie Tompa. Carter from the baseline takes it and makes it. Doug Carter's first 2 points of the evening, and with almost a half minute to go, it is Cleveland State up by 11, 36-25, as McFadden puts up a shot, misses, but on the other side, Eric Mudd powers it up and draws the foul. And that'll either be on Taphorn or Tompa.
That time Kenny was off balance on that shot. It went over air ball over the hoop. Eric Mudd was on the rebounding part of it, got a foul.
And Pat Taphorn was the guilty party. That is the freshman's first personal of the evening. And Eric Mudd shooting 58.3 from the free throw line. Not much to write home about. And he misses his first attempt. Eric, the leading field goal percentage shooter on the club with 59.3. Splits the pair. He has 3 points on the evening now. And it's a 37-25 Viking lead with 28 seconds remaining. Nardi almost failed to get the ball inbounds once again before the 5-second clock had expired. Doug Carter to Boulding. We have 9 seconds remaining. And underneath, Roger Ripley from Frank Nardi. Long pass down court. Doesn't go in. I don't think it would have counted. That's the end of the first half with the score. Cleveland State 37. The Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix 27. We'll be back with halftime right after this. Back once again here at the Brown County Veteran Memorial Arena in Wisconsin, Green Bay, or Green Bay, Wisconsin, I should say. It's the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, which we're playing. And the Vikings leading by only 10, 37-27. A team that came into this evening's game with not a very impressive record, winning only 1 game out of 9. And in fact, lost to a Division II club last week. Really, so far, head coach Dick Bennett finding it a rough going in his first season here.
I think he's happy with this halftime score. They're only down by 10 points. And I think the reason they're down by 10 points, they've been fighting on the defensive boards, giving Cleveland State 1 shot most of the times down. Good shots that they're taking on the offensive end, being patient with their offense, getting 10 to 12 passes, and also not enough shots, though, but they're taking good shots.
Now, neither team had a chance to practice here on the floor. There was a flea market here this afternoon, and of course, not even the home team gets to practice here. They had to practice on their own fieldhouse floor, which is about, I'd say, a couple miles away. So how much of an effect is that going to have, or has that had, do you think, on the shooting so far this evening?
Well, this is not their home court. If they don't practice here at least 2 or 3 times a week, this is just like a away game to them. This is new surroundings. It's very dark in here, as you probably can tell. So it's a transition for them to come in here and play once every 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay, we will be back with a feature on Sean Hood and Eddie Bryant, as we mentioned earlier. And then after that, we'll be back with the halftime stats. So stay tuned. The halftime continues. And Cleveland State basketball.
This is my library. I'm Tony Brown. You've probably seen me on public television on Tony Brown's Journal. For the last 15 years, I've built the only audio and video collection of its kind. And now, for the first time, it's available to you.
Order this favorite full-length movie classic video, America's Black Eagles, and join the library of black history. The black pilots of World War II shot down fascism abroad and racism at home. The historic saga of America's only black Air Force, the Tuskegee Airmen, is captured in this epic tale of heroism and victory against tremendous odds. See exciting aerial battle scenes. Order this video classic now and get a special discount. Reduced to only $49.95, a giant savings. Operators are standing by. Visa, MasterCard, checks, money orders accepted. Order now, 1-800-223-1796. In New York State, 212-206-4006.
Basketball is my life, you know, and I realize that I have a size disadvantage and I probably won't be able to play in the NBA, or I'm not even sure if I'd want to play in the NBA or overseas. I definitely have a contribution to make to basketball, I feel, and I want to coach, and I'm going to pursue it as hard as I can.
I would really like to coach. You know, I would like to go and coach at a high school level or whatever. I like to be associated with things that I really love to do, and I think basketball and being around little kids and coaching them would be something that I really like to do. I think I could really get into that.
Actually, Sean Hood and Eddie Bryant are like coaches on the floor for Kevin Mackey's Cleveland State Vikings. The 5'7" Hood and the 5'9" Bryant were among Mackey's first recruits when he took over the CSU program in 1983, and both of them have shared the time at the point guard position just about equally. Eddie became a starter this year for the first time when Sean was sidelined due to arthroscopic knee surgery, but the Hood-Bryant combination is back in full swing now, and just as the pair of them work together on the court, the two tell their story in this CSU close-up.
Basically, the reason why I came to Cleveland State because it was the only Division I school that gave me an offer.
I was better than most of the guys in my state, and I always felt that I was going to get recruited. I didn't realize what exactly was going on in Division I, but I never felt that I wasn't going to get recruited. As a matter of fact, I was a little disappointed that I didn't get recruited as highly as I thought I would. We were always coming so close. If you remember those games that we did lose my freshman year, we lost by 2 points, 4 points, 6 points, you know, and we were always so close.
It was kind of frustrating because when I was in high school, and like a lot of other players that Coach Mackey recruited, we was winners, you know, and I felt like I was always a winner, you know, and then when we came up to Cleveland State, when we all got together, you know, everybody, you know, was feeling that we could really do something. We could really turn this program around. And once we started playing, you know, it was kind of hard for us because, you know, we really didn't have the experience. We had a lot of young guys. And once we started losing, you know, we started scratching our heads and saying, hey, you know, we got to figure out how to win again.
And Coach Mackey kept telling us we're not ready to win yet. We have to just do a few more of the little things, and it came around, so everything started to fall into place. And
we really started to have faith in the system. And we just did exactly what Coach Mackey said. He said, well, this is the system, and you got to do it in order for it to work. So we played under the system, and we did the best that we possibly could under the system. And then we said, hey, wait a minute, we're starting to win some games. We're doing, you know, what Coach Mackey's saying, and it's starting to work. And we all started smiling, you know. So we just even started playing even harder, and we just started building on the system, building and building. And the more we played under it, the better, you know, we got at it.
We're older now, and I think there's nothing that's going to stop us now but ourselves.
Another thing, we thought that we should have got a bid to the NIT at least. And so we kind of took that, and I guess, you know, we said to ourselves, well, we're going to build on that.
I think we have to win more than we won last year in order for them to get take a look at us. So I think we all have something to prove because we all want to make the tournaments. The seniors that we have, Clint Smith and Bob Crawford and Vince Richards, Steve Corbin, they're very hungry for a bid, and I think that it's well deserved on their part, and I think we all deserve it, so we have something to prove.
Me and Sean are real great friends off the court, and on the court we try to be competitive. We feel that the more pressure we put on each other, you know, on the court, the better off the team will be, you know, because, you know, I wouldn't want him to not play me really aggressive because I know I'm going to play against a lot of talented players, you know, and I want him to give me a workout just like, you know, he want me to give him a workout. And if we both do that to each other, the better off, you know, it'll be for us. when we go out there and play against those competitive teams.
You know, I don't get a whole lot of publicity, but then it doesn't matter to me. My publicity, it comes from the team. The team knows what I do for the team, and Coach Mackey knows, and whether fans, the media know what I do for the teams or not, it's not really important to me. I probably would have said the same thing my freshman year, but just recently I've come to actually believe it.
How do you respond to people who say you're too short?
Every night I go to bed, I start praying, you know, that I wake up with 3 more inches, you know, but obviously that's not realistic.
There's no size to the basketball. You got to be able to play, you know. The ones who can play, you know, it doesn't make a difference what size you are. You know, if you're 6'10" or if you're 5'9", 5'7", it doesn't really make a difference. You got to know how to play the game and play it well and do what you have to do in order to win.
You're watching WCLQ TV 61 in Cleveland.
And it's halftime here at Brown County Memorial Arena. The Vikings leading the Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix 37-27. This series, this is the 8th game of the series. The Vikings have won 6 of the previous 7. However, the only game they lost here was a 1-point loss 2 years ago in Kevin Mackey's first year. And I'm sure that right now he would like to have more than a 10-point lead, knowing how defensive-minded Coach Dick Bennett is. You know, when he was at Wisconsin-Stevens Point, the school that he came from, the last 4 years, his teams led the nation in defense.
Well, I think Coach Mackey is happy with the 10-point lead. Don't get him wrong. He'll take a win anytime, no matter what the point spread is. But I think the team is doing some good things. It's just not reflecting on the points because Wisconsin is using just about 35 seconds of the 45-second clock. But as they got behind, they started speeding the game up just a little, and then they was getting shots up at the 25-second mark. So if we can press them and get them to take those early shots, I think we make and break 100.
And who said that the 45-second clock would cause an explosion in scoring? We're seeing right now that that's not the case. Let's take a look right now at the statistics at the end of the first half. Right now, field goals, Cleveland State is shooting an even 50% from the field, while Wisconsin Green Bay has a better than 50% margin with 11 out of 19. From the free throw line, Cleveland State has made 8 out of 13, while Wisconsin Green Bay has only been to the line 7 times, but they've converted 7. Rebounds are even, surprisingly, 7 and 7. But there you see the big story. Cleveland State only committing 5 turnovers while forcing Wisconsin Green Bay into committing 15. Individually, it is Clinton Smith. Now, Chiron has him with 11 points. I have him with 14. Sean Hood with 9. Paul Stewart with 4. Eric Mudd with 3. Ramsey McFadden Crawford with 2 each. And Ray Salters with 1. Wisconsin Green Bay, Bernie Tompa, the leading scorer with 9 points. And then Alonzo Skanes has 8. Everybody else has 2 after that. So we're seeing somewhat of a drop-off. One person leading the scoring, as we mentioned, Clinton Smith with 14 for Cleveland State, Bernie Tompa with 9, and Skanes with 8. But beyond that, nobody else has scored that much. I'm surprised, though, with Sean Hood's output today, scoring a lot.
Well, he's getting a little more playing time, as you mentioned, since McFadden has went over to the shooting guard. It's not surprising to me. I think Sean has always been able to shoot the jump shot, but he was looking to penetrate and give the ball up to someone else. Tonight, they returned the favor. They gave the ball back to him.
Okay, the second half just about to get underway. Stay tuned. We're back for more action right after this. All right, we are just about set to get the second half underway here at, I forgot where I was for a minute, Wisconsin Green Bay, Brown County Memorial Arena. I apologize for that oversight. 37-27, Cleveland State leading the Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix. One of the reasons, of course, that the Phoenix are having a difficult season, in addition to the fact that they have a lot of inexperience, is that they lost this man right here, Richard Sims, who has been their leading scorer for the last 2 seasons and is out now with a broken foot.
Well, you know, he was in line to be the only one in history for the University of Wisconsin Green Bay to be the leading scorer for 3 consecutive years, and he was looking forward to this year. I know his coach was looking forward to having him, but those are the breaks of the game. of the foot one.
Right. Took the words right out of my mouth. Second half action about to get underway. Clinton Ramsey inbounds to Eddie Bryant. The Vikings with their original starting lineup of McFadden and Bryant at the guards, Ramsey and Smith at the forwards, and Eric Mudd at the center. Bryant throws it away into the hands of Steve Cottrell, who is back in there with 3 personal fouls. And the Phoenix have the basketball with a chance to close the gap to 8. The Phoenix with their original starting lineup. Taphorn taking a shot from a little bit out of his range, but the Phoenix still control. The Phoenix do not have what they would consider a true center, so they play 3 forwards and 2 guards. And on the turnaround, Cottrell.
That time Nardi had the jump shot. He took 1 step in closer. The defensive man pulled on him. Nice, easy pass to the paint.
And Cottrell, averaging 6 assists per ball game, showed you there why he is the assist leader on this ball club. Looks for the open man. Clinton Smith underneath to Clinton Ramsey, and Ramsey puts it in. Only 4 points for Clinton Ramsey tonight. He is now 17 points away from becoming the 6th leading career scorer for the Cleveland State Vikings. On the rebound, Eric Mudd is fouled by Steve Cottrell, and that is 4 personals on Cottrell. And that's something that Coach Dick Bennett doesn't like very much. Quickly, he goes to his bench and sends Adrian Bolding into the ball game to replace Cottrell.
When you lose a guy that averages 9.1 and he's your 2nd leading scorer, although you're just averaging over 50 points, it means something to you.
Sean Hood with the basketball to Kenny McFadden. McFadden looks for Ramsey underneath, and Ramsey misses off the glass. Mudd comes down with the rebound, and he powers it up and in.
I think anytime we get an offensive rebound, we should score because of the height differential that we have in there and the muscle that we have. We should score on every offensive rebound.
I'll tell you one thing, and I don't mean to be looking ahead, but I saw DePaul and Notre Dame this afternoon on television, and the Vikings are going to have their hands full at the Horizon on Wednesday with the size differential there. Their front line goes 6'8", 6'8", 6'9". We go 6'5", 6'6", 6'8". Quite a difference.
Well, we saw the difference one time before, although it worked okay in Ohio State, down at Ohio State, but in Michigan you can tell the difference.
Those guys are so big, they ought to be outlawed. 17:28 to go in the contest. Cleveland State up by 12. Again, Mudd putting it up and in on the rebound, and this time he also gets the foul.
Good shot on the replay. I think it was a bad shot. Mudd in good position to get the rebound, up strong with it.
And we have an official timeout on the floor with the score. Cleveland State 43, Wisconsin Green Bay 29. We'll be back. Here's a surprising statistic for you. Ken McFadden 0 for 5 from the field. The Mouse, who scored 24 points in his first collegiate start last Saturday against Utica, tonight finding it somewhat rough going as Eric Mudd puts up the free throw. He is now 2 for 3 from the line, has 8 points on the night. Cleveland State with a 15-point lead, and Sean Hood just got caught for a foul.
Well, speaking of the Mouse, you're going to have those type of nights, and I think a couple of those shots out of those 0 for 5 were bad shots. I think he's pressing, trying to get something started for himself, and not only for himself, but for Cleveland State also. I think he should relax and let things come as they may.
The man whom he replaced in the lineup, Vince Richards, did not see action at all last week, and that broke a string of 56 starts in 57 games. So far, we have not seen him off the bench tonight.
Well, Coach Mackey is going with a 10-man rotation. Right now, Vince is the 11th man on that 10-man rotation. He has to work his way back into that 10-man rotation. I think he has the capability and the talent to do it.
It's somewhat unfortunate for Vince, though. 911 career points. He has a chance to become the 10th man in Cleveland State history to score 1,000 or more points. And he is also just 19 points away from becoming the 11th all-time leading scorer in Cleveland State history. That was Pat Taphorn from long range with 4 points now. Cleveland State's lead cut to 13. Doug Carter attempted to steal, but fouled Ken McFadden instead. Vikings will get the ball out of bounds. That is only the 3rd team foul of this half against Wisconsin Green Bay. McFadden driving, make him 0 for 6 now, and Eric Mudd benefiting from McFadden's misfortunes.
I tell you, I think they must have a contract out missing you put him in.
Clinton Smith almost made a steal there, but Wisconsin Green Bay managed to control. And it's either going to be a traveling call or a foul, and I think it's going to be the foul, and that's going to be on Clinton Smith.
The defense was not bad that time, but what happened, he split the 2 defensive players to get his head and shoulders through, and he got tripped.
Wisconsin Green Bay will have Pat Taphorn putting the ball into play. We have Taphorn, Carter, Nardi, Tompa, and Adrian Bolding in there for the Phoenix. The Vikings counter with Bryant and McFadden, Eric Mudd at the center, Ramsey and Smith at the forwards. This is Taphorn making it. And Pat Taphorn showing a little bit of scoring prowess. He now has 6 points. He's averaging 7 points on the season. And underneath, Ken McFadden gets whistled for the personal foul, and that is McFadden's 2nd. And he's going to take a breather as Steve Corbin and Ray Salters come into the ball game. Clinton Ramsey is going to take a break also. Carter being harassed, gets it over to Taphorn. Taphorn gets it across the timeline to Nardi. Carter with the shot, good. Good percentage short-range shots for the Wisconsin Green Bay Phoenix as Steve Corbin. This is one that hung around the rim forever. And on the rebound, I believe Steve Corbin is going to get called for the personal. Corbin's first.
And those were not good shots the last 2 times down the court by Cleveland State. We have to have good shots. Because we're a better team and we have a lead, we still have to have good shots.
Vikings lead by 11 now with 15:25 remaining. It is 46-35. Bryant almost making a steal, and Carter is going to get called for the backcourt violation. So even though Bryant didn't get the steal, he did force the turnover, and that'll give the ball back to Cleveland State. As Rich Bertoni, the official, hands the ball to Clinton Smith. Eddie Bryant now directing the offense. Corbin underneath to Smith. Smith on the turnaround, misses. Underneath on the rebound, Crawford is fouled by Bernie Tompa.
I think Crawford committed the foul.
I would certainly like to see that one again because I thought Crawford had the position. On the inbounds pass, the Phoenix breaks the press. I'm having a hard time grammatically trying to determine whether we should refer to the Phoenix as a singular noun or a plural noun. Tompa having no problem with the shot there, though, with 11 points. And the Phoenix force another turnover. They're only trailing by 9.
And they're playing a very smart basketball game. They're getting very good shots on one end. Cleveland State is taking poorly shots. They're not in position to get the rebound like they were earlier. So this game is really turned around now. Although the score is just 9 points, it's closer than that by the way they're playing.
Coach Kevin Mackey looking very concerned as Adrian Bolding cuts the lead to 7. And the crowd here at the Brown County Memorial Arena coming to life. Their team has trailed most of the ball game, and they're still trailing, but now only by 7. The smallest deficit in quite a long time. Underneath, the Vikings lose it out of bounds, but it'll still be Cleveland State's basketball. I believe Adrian Boulding was the last player to touch it. 13:56 remaining in the contest. Not a very comfortable state of affairs for the Vikings.
Now that the Phoenix are overplaying now, trying to deny the pass, we should have some back doors, some cuts to the hoop. We've been trying to get the basketball coming away from the hoop. Now we got to go to the hoop.
Right now we have a foul on Doug Carter, which will give the ball back to Cleveland State. That is the 4th team foul this half against the Phoenix. Vikings still 3 personals away from the bonus. Alley-oop to Crawford. Crawford loses control of it, but Stewart on the rebound puts it up and in. Paul Stewart was the right man in the right place at the right time as Crawford blew the bunny. And Carter doing a little bit of fancy dribbling to break the press. Play getting somewhat sloppy.
That time, Green Bay had a man underneath the hoop wide open, and they chose to bring it back out.
Frank Nardi, he and Pat Taphorn missing the shot. I started to say that Nardi and Bernie Tompa are the only 2 Phoenix players to start all 10 games for them this season. And I should say all 11 because they are playing their 11th game of the season tonight. Their 11th game under Dick Bennett. As Salters misses and Adrian Boulding comes down with the rebound. The Phoenix down by 9 with 12:54 remaining.
That's that good defensive rebounding that they're doing now that's giving Cleveland State 1 shot.
And I've noticed that the last several times down the court consistently, they've worked that 45-second clock down to 20 seconds or less. And we have a foul.
I think their philosophy is if we pass the ball around the horn enough times, someone is going to be out of position one of those times, and we can take a good shot. And so far, it's working for him.
Corbin was the guilty party on that last personal. He has 2, and he is on the bench right now as McFadden and Hood are back in at the guard tandem. Nardi over to Tompa from the corner. Tompa misses this time, and Crawford comes down with the rebound. Hood on the attack. McFadden driving, puts it up, and that is McFadden's first field goal of the afternoon. He now has 4 points, and it is a 50-39 Viking lead. Good pass by Nardi to Boulding to break the press. Get it into the front court. Nardi to Boulding again. Boulding misses this time, and 2 Vikings, Stewart and Crawford, fighting each other for the rebound. Fortunately, McFadden comes out with it. And McFadden's going to drive the lane, puts up another shot. And Ken McFadden getting his shooting percentage back up again. We have a timeout on the floor with 11:49 remaining in the contest to score. Cleveland State 52, Wisconsin Green Bay 39. We'll be back right after this. And there you look in on the huddle of Wisconsin Green Bay and Coach Dick Bennett, whose team right now is being out-rebounded by Cleveland State 19-13. Dick Bennett came into this season with a very, very impressive record after 9 years at Wisconsin-Stevens Point. 174 victories, only 79 defeats. The last 4 years, his teams had won 20 or more games each season. And the teams had also led the nation in defense. Of course, that was Division II. This is Division I, which is a totally different story. 11:40 remaining in the ball game. Taphorn almost threw it away underneath Boulding. And Boulding, or rather, check it, Doug Cottrell, Steve Cottrell, who just came into the ball game, is called for the offensive foul, and I believe that's 5. That is correct. That is his 5th personal foul. The basket will count, however, and Cottrell will leave the ball game with 6 points, and he has fouled out of the ball game.
They were actually looking for some big things from him tonight. He's one of those guys with a 9-point average. So anytime you lose 9 points out of your lineup, especially when you're only scoring 50, it's going to hurt.
And Cottrell came into the ball game also leading the team in most personals committed. And I guess tonight he has shown why he's the leader. That's one of those negative statistics you don't like to get known for. The Phoenix, trailing by 11, however, get the ball back, so the Vikings were not able to take advantage of it. Oh, my gosh, Adrian Bolding.
7-foot shot and wouldn't take it.
Great shot. Tampa missing. And Hood coming out of the pile with the rebound. Over to McFadden. McFadden's going to drive it. He takes it, misses. Stewart on the rebound, puts it up, and he is going to be fouled, and that foul is going to be on Bernie Tampa, I believe.
That shows the strength of Stewart that time. The ball was actually tied up for a jump ball, but his strength pulled it loose to try to get the shot up.
That is only Bernie Tampa's 1st personal, and will send Paul Stewart from the line, his first trip tonight. He is a 50% free throw shooter. Stewart has only played 2 games as a Viking, becoming eligible on December 23rd. Had 2 points against Michigan in his debut, 8 points against Utica last week. He has 7 so far tonight, and 1 for 1 from the free throw line. Vikings back up by 12, 53-41 with 10:47 remaining in the ball game. And Stewart misses on the second shot. Quentin Ramsey gets the rebound. He falls short of the rim. And the Phoenix have the basketball back. Wisconsin Green Bay trailing by 12 here at Brown County Memorial Arena. Adjacent to the Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame, Nardi taking a shot and missing, and McFadden fouls on the rebound, trying to strip the ball away from Pat Taphorn. McFadden now with 3 personal fouls as Stewart and Crawford take a breather. Eric Mudd and Clinton Smith back into the ball game. This complex here in Green Bay, the Memorial Arena, as we mentioned, across the street from Curly Lambeau Field, where the Green Bay Packers play their home games. Taphorn now with 7 points. And I had a chance this afternoon to visit the Packer Hall of Fame along with Sports Information Director Merle Levin and plain dealer writer Bill Nichols, who is along on this trip. Taphorn missing the second shot. Phoenix trail 53-42. 10-15 remaining in the contest. Ramsey being harassed and loses the ball, but Eric Mudd comes out with it. Mudd misses, and finally it's Pat Taphorn coming down with the rebound for the Phoenix. Nardi across the timeline.
This game goes back and forth. Thank God we have a big lead, because they catch up 2 or 3 points, and then we'll move back up 2 or 3 points to make it 13, 14 points. Something has to happen here pretty soon. We have to blow them out, or they're going to catch up.
And I believe for the majority of this second half, Wisconsin Green Bay has had the momentum. Taphorn missing, and Ken McFadden coming down with the rebound. We've got a 3-on-3 break, and McFadden's going to take it himself.
That was a good look move. He looked to the left like he was going to pass the basketball. The man in front thought he was also and gave him the lane.
McFadden now has 8 points. It is 55-42. Vikings on top by 13, 9:21 to go. And if all things remain as the case has been so far, the Vikings will have their lowest scoring output of the season. I believe their lowest score was 88-76 over the University of Akron. I'm going to have to check that to be sure. Underneath, we have a foul on McFadden, and now the Mouse has 4 personals. And right away, Steve Corbin comes up off the Viking bench to replace McFadden in the lineup.
What's happening to the Mouse, he's getting caught on that backside of that zone. The ball is being taken from the left side of the free throw lane, which means Kenny now has to be the back man on the zone, and he's getting out rebound.
Bernie Tompa, as you saw on the graphic there, came into the ball game tonight shooting a perfect 100% from the free throw line. He has missed one tonight, however. He is now 4 of 5 and has 12 points. He cuts the lead down to 55-43 and make it now 55-44 as Tompa is 5 for 6 from the line. 8:56 remaining. Vikings on top by 11. Sean Hood looking underneath the mud. Mud powers it up and puts it in off the glass.
As I mentioned before, Sean is probably our best penetrating guard on a half-court situation. He can get to the hoop and he can dish it off.
Sean Hood missed the first game of the season due to arthroscopic knee surgery, and Frank Nardi is going to get called for the personal. Steve Corbin will not go to the line because, yes, we will. We do have the one-on-one. I thought we did, but I wasn't quite sure, and no one made a signal until now.
Another reason I think the score is so low is because Ramsey hadn't really gotten involved in this offense yet.
Clinton Ramsey with only 4 points this evening. Came into the ball game with 1,109 career points. With these 4, he is only 17 points away from being the 6th leading all-time scorer in CSU history. That is Steve Corbin's first point of the night. Corbin, a 66.7% free throw shooter from the line. Improves that average now with a perfect 2 for 2 in his first trip tonight. It is now 59-44. Vikings up by 15. Alonzo Skanes with a left-handed hook.
Well, he's making his presence known now. He's been quiet for about the last of the first half and the beginning of this second half, but now I think he's going to exert himself and try to get his team back in this game.
Skanes now has 10 points. Cuts the Viking lead to 13. Ramsey on the reverse didn't make it, and Mudd was fouled on the rebound. And that foul is going to be on Pat Taphorn. The 6'7" freshman gets called for his second personal of the evening, and Eric Mudd will be at the line.
I think Ramsey is having a little problem going to the hoop tonight. The Phoenix is playing very good team defense. Once he beats his man going to the hoop, someone else is there to be in his way.
Mudd now with 13 points. He's 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He has a chance to make it 14 and increase the Cleveland State Viking lead to 15 if he makes it, which he does. So Eric Mudd now makes it 60-46 in favor of the Vikings, and we have an official timeout on the floor with 8 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in the ball game to score. Cleveland State 61, Wisconsin Green Bay 46. Monday night at 7, a writer is found murdered shortly after a meeting with Barnaby Jones. The question is, did Barnaby have anything to do with it? Find out Monday night at 7 on Barnaby Jones, right here on TV 61. And right here at the Brown County Memorial Fieldhouse, we have a 61-46 Viking lead with 8 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. And the Phoenix getting the basketball out of bounds. Pat Taphorn will put it into play. And he gets it into Alonzo Skanes. And the Phoenix now in their own front court, trying to cut into this 15-point Viking deficit. Taphorn from the free throw line, puts it up and in. Pat Taphorn with 9 points.
He's finally got that touchback. He hit 2 or 3 a little early in the second half here. Then he went about 2 or 3 without even hitting the rim. So he must have his shooting eye back.
Taphorn from Pekin, Illinois. In fact, many of these Phoenix players are from the Illinois state, from the state of Illinois. Only 2 on the entire roster from the state of Wisconsin. Eddie Bryant now replacing Sean Hood in the Viking lineup. Taphorn, putting the ball in bounds, grew 4 inches and gained 25 pounds his senior year of high school.
Well, you really want to know just how much of impact that Coach Bennett has on this team and the history of this basketball team until about 2 or 3 years after he have a good recruiting year, 2 or 3 good recruiting years.
Well, don't forget, even at Wisconsin-Stevens Point, he was 9-17 his first year. Clinton Smith, his first 2 points of the second half, he now has 16. Vikings back on top by 15. Nardi on the drive, over to Bolding. Bolding misses, and Mudd comes down with the rebound. Lead pass to Clinton Smith and the slam. And Smitty now with 18 points. It is a 17-point Viking lead with 6:45 remaining as Wisconsin-Green Bay calls a timeout with the score 65-48. We'll be back.
We're going to see right now how to get out on a fast break. As you see, Smith was all the way underneath the hoop. He ran past the defense all the way for the slam. That's a picture-perfect fast break from baseline to baseline.
Back to live action now. Doug Carter will put the ball in play for the Wisconsin-Green Bay Phoenix, who are trailing in this ball game by 17 points. Nardi came close to committing a backcourt violation as he passed it to Alonzo Skanes. Doug Carter in and out. Eddie Bryant coming down with the rebound. Bryant stops over to Corbin. Corbin's going to drive the lane, and he misses. And it's Bolding with the rebound. The Vikings' lowest scoring output of the season was 85 points, and that was in a losing cause against Michigan when they lost 105-85. So tonight, I doubt that they'll score 20 points in the next 5 minutes and 50 seconds, although stranger things have happened. Alonzo Skanes now with 12 points. And it's a 65-50 Cleveland State Viking lead. Skanes with a steal. Alonzo Skanes, a first-year player, transfer from the University of Minnesota. Only 6'2", but he's playing big out there on the floor right now. Cleveland State Eddie Bryant saved the ball, but passed it into a Phoenix player's hands. And this is Nardi with a shot.
As you see, when they pass the basketball and get you out of position, they have pretty good shots, and they make those shots seem like every time. But it's just that they're not getting enough shots off.
Believe it or not, those are Nardi's first 2 points of the evening. He's only averaging 3.2 per contest. His strength, of course, is finding the open man. Vikings look like they're going to spread it out right now. And Nardi tried to make a steal, but got called for the personal instead. That'll be Nardi's third personal, and we'll have Eddie Bryant at the free throw line. Eddie Bryant with no points tonight.
You know, Eddie's role this year is to be the playmaking guard, to be the guy who feeds everyone else. I think his game would really improve and would help Cleveland State even a little more if he would take that shot like he did last year. He won 3 or 4 games for us last year, taking that outside shot.
Eddie Bryant scores his first point of the evening. He is fitting his role very well, as Bingo mentioned, because he leads the club with 49 assists. Misses the second free throw attempt. 1 for 2 from the line. 62-56. Vikings up by 14. Doug Carter is fouled by Clinton Ramsey. And he'll be at the line for 2. Ramsey's first personal of the evening.
I think time is running out on Green Bay right now. They have to get more shots up. Time is running out. They're hitting their shots. They got to get more shots up.
Only 4 minutes and 16 seconds remain in the contest. Carter will have 2 shots. My partner this afternoon, when the Cleveland State Vikings were working out, was giving the Vikings some free throw shooting lessons. What was it, about $2 a lesson you were charging him?
I made a little money on it.
Carter misses both from the line. He's 0 for 2, and the Phoenix could ill afford to miss those shots, although they got the rebound. They trail by 14, and this trying to find the good shot is not going to work out, although Boulding was fouled by Mudd.
Now, a little thing that I like to tell the fans, if you watch this replay, here is a good head and shoulder fake, but you see he tried to avoid the contact. When you're in that close, don't try to avoid the contact. Go strong to the hoop.
Sean Hood replaces Eddie Bryant as we look upon Adrian Boulding, a 6'3" freshman out of Chicago, Illinois, shooting 77.8 from the free throw line. And he misses that one. He's 2 for 3 from the line tonight. When Boulding was in high school in Chicago, he was listed as a sleeper prospect by the Chicago Sun-Times. And I'm sure that's one of the many reasons that Coach Dick Bennett took a chance on the young man. Vikings lead by 13, 3:45 remaining. Coach Kevin Mackey trying to work that spread offense and get it perfected. Shot clock down to 15 seconds. Sean Hood over to Eric Mudd, and Mudd tremendous off the glass tonight.
What we done that time, we played a little Green Bay that time. We passed the ball around until we got what we wanted. As I said, Sean Hood penetrating well and dishing the basketball off.
Eric Mudd's personal high this season, 20 points against Ohio State in a losing effort. He has 16 tonight. And Tampa gives it away to Bob Crawford, who handed it to Clinton Ramsey, and now Kenny McFadden brings it down slowly. Clinton Ramsey almost has it taken away.
Can't get too relaxed or careless out there. This game is not really over.
2.5 minutes remaining, and on the attempted steal, Alonzo Skanes commits his 4th personal. Roger Ripley coming back into the ball game. Doug Carter sitting down along with Adrian Boulding. We also have Bernie Tampa back into the ball game. Ramsey at the line for a 1-and-1. Clinton only averaging 15.5 points this year. Has 5 so far on the evening. This is his first trip to the line tonight. And he's perfect in both attempts. So Clinton Ramsey now with 6 points. Vikings up by 17 with 2.5 minutes remaining. And as time slips away from the Phoenix, the Vikings assure themselves of their 10th victory of the season.
I always felt that when a team is down by this many points with 2 minutes to go, they've been stalling the ball. Last 2 minutes you've lost the game. Let's put it all out. Let's see what happened these last 2 minutes. Good shot.
Alonzo Skanes now with 14 points on the night. He takes the scoring lead from Bernie Tampa, who has 13. And the Vikings now lead by 15 with 1:48 remaining. Vikings now go into Chicago after tonight. They play the Illinois Chicago Flames. Vikings committing a turnover there. 5-second violation called by official Bo Paprocki. By the way, Paprocki came over to the bench, to the announcer's table before the ball game, asked to be remembered to Cleveland sportscaster Bruce Drennan. I guess they were friends in the Chicago area. So Bruce, Bo says hello.
They officiated basketball games together.
That's right. I didn't know that Bruce was an official.
I didn't either.
Eric Mudd on the hook. Good shot by Eric. And Eric now is tied with Clinton Smith for the scoring lead. Both of them have 18. We're down to a minute left in the ball game. It is 72-55. The Cleveland State Vikings will score their lowest total of the season, but nevertheless will win their 10th game and get their first AMQ8 victory of the year.
I'm sure Coach Mackey would like to get the scores up as high as he can, because that's maybe one of the things that'll get them in the tournament at the end of the year if they lead the nation in scoring. But I'm sure the W's and L's is what he's really looking at.
Not only do they lead the nation in scoring, they are third in point differential, outscoring their opposition by 27.2 points per ball game. Eric Mudd just made his 20th point of the night, and that ties his personal high for the season. Outstanding game by the 6'8" junior from Benedictine High School. Nardi lets it fly and scores.
No passes that time on offense. It was just 2 dribbles on a shot.
It's a little bit too little too late, though. 74-59. The Vikings by 15 with 8 seconds to go. Sean Hood will put it up. Eric Mudd puts it in, and Mudd now has scored his season high, and that's the ball game. The final score, Cleveland State 76, Wisconsin Green Bay 59. We'll wrap it up right after this.